Finally, after spending some time with Payday 3, I think I am ready to talk about some of the positives and some of the negative stuff. And just to remind you that this is coming from a long-time Payday fan and just a regular consumer. I'm not affiliated with Overkill in any way, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything like many other content creators tend to do. But I'm also not gonna be overly negative like many other content creators tend to do as well. This is simply a personal opinion from a regular player, and that's it. Starting off with some of the good stuff, I genuinely like the heist. I think they're really well designed. They're fun to play in. We get a decent enough variety, and I like that we're not necessarily limited to either stealth or loud. There are a few heists that are of course limited to stealth and loud, which are the armored transport one, and of course turbid station, which is just murky station, but I think it's fine. I like having those heists around, but I also like not being super saturated with heists like those. Like I said, the level design is great and the visuals are good too, in my opinion. The weapons look, sound, and feel good to use. I like the animations, I like the way they sound, and I think that's extremely good. I also would like to praise the gameplay because it just feels nice to play, and I think that's good. Definitely still got more attention than loud, and coming from a person who never liked playing stealth in Payday 2 because to me it felt a little bit boring and clunky, stealth in Payday 3 feels good. I know that a lot of people have criticized the mechanic of not putting a mask and then you can do a lot of the heists without having a mask on, but once again I'm not a super hardcore stealth player, so I don't feel like I have the proper right to criticize this. I'm having fun with stealth and that's a +1 to me. Like I said, loud got a little bit less attention, but I don't think it's bad. I personally prefer playing loud. It's energizing, it's fun, and it's a great time, especially if you have friends to play with. As a solo player, I hope they let us customize the bots in the future like in Payday 2, and I hope they improve the server situation because a lot of the time matchmaking is just painfully slow. But I really like the way cobwebs are handled, I like the special enemies, I like how they work with each other, and I also love that bulldozers are menacing again. They're not a meme like in Payday 2. It feels a little bit closer to Payday the Heist. I also like the concept of overkill weapons. It's a nice reward, and I'm just so excited to see what new weapons are gonna add as the overkill category. I'm hoping to see more explosives and of course like machine guns as well. The weapon variety right now is a little bit limited, but be assured that they're gonna add new weapons with DLCs. The ones they added so far I think are really good, and I just hope they continue this trend of good quality in the future. I just generally want to see more weapons, more masks, more clothing options. Bringing back characters from Payday 2 could be a nice addition too, but I want to see new characters and I want to see what Overkill can do with their creativity. I think they're a relatively creative studio, so I would love to see more new characters from them. I like Pearl, she's one of my favorite heisters. Of course she's not gonna be my favorite like the way Clover was. I like the way they handled Joy as well. She's more mature, more grown up. They brought her back because she's a hacker, and I think Payday has updated itself when it comes to technology, so it makes narrative sense as well. Last but not least, I like the tonal shift of the game. I hope they continue to take the narrative seriously, and I personally really like Shade. She's one of my favorite contractors in the series. I miss Bane for nostalgia reasons, but I really prefer Shade. Her voice actress does a fantastic job, and I think the voice acting in general is really good, but generally it has always been good in the Payday series. There's a fair share of cringy voice lines, but to be honest, there always will be cringe voice lines in Payday. That's just how it is. For some whatever reason, a lot of people were complaining that there are a lot of female characters present in the game. I think it's a minority of player, but if you genuinely think that women make Payday 3 a bit worse for you, I would encourage you to take therapy. Don't fall for the hateful rhetoric of certain YouTubers and streamers. Speaking of the music, I think it's decent. I don't think it's perfect, but also I don't think it's bad. I think it's incredibly hard to recreate the style of a particular musician, but as long as they keep this electronic tone and explosive feel, we're gonna be alright. One thing they do need to add is the ability to change the music in a heist. The tracks are nice as a standalone, but it's annoying that you can't change them. I think right now the worst thing in the entire game is the challenges and the challenge menu. It's hard to navigate, it's hard to keep a track on them, and before the most recent update, you had to complete challenges to level up. Now you will get XP for both completing the heist and completing the heist with all bags, but I simply do not understand why that was not a previous feature in the game. And if you think about it, there's a lot of missing features from both Payday the Heist and Payday 2. This is more of a personal take, but I also hope they add more stickers and charms and everything cosmetic. I think the outfits, the clothing look particularly ugly, but the quality of the new cosmetic items is great, so I'm just hoping for the best. I think in general with Payday, if you're a recurrent player, you have to be cautiously optimistic, especially with the way Overkill has behaved in the past. I genuinely hope they keep up with the quality control because it's gonna be extremely important going forward. To sum up my thoughts, I think the game is better now. It's a long ways from being a perfect game. Essentially no game is perfect, perfect, but I think continuous updates will help the game. I just hope we get the big positive changes as soon as possible so they can focus on creating good quality content for us. I think it's fair if you jump on the train now or at a later date. The game is simply not perfect, but it's been good enough and fun enough for me. But I understand that this statement is coming from a long-time Payday fan, and I also understand that a lot of newer players are extremely disappointed with the game, so I think in general it's kind of a mixed bag so far. But if you find the game on sale, I encourage you to try it and simply form your own opinion.